Welcome to the Grind 329 podcast by Lonza. We hope you'll enjoy your stay. Follow the Grind 329 by Lonza podcast on YouTube and Instagram. Type in it Beats by Lonza.
Powered by Riverside FM.
The Grind 329 podcast can be found at Buzzsprout, Spotify, Apple and Google Podcasts, and all streaming DSPs. Catch up on our latest podcasts and get up to date.
Welcome, everybody. Set up, waiting for our guests to arrive. Got a good show lined up for you tonight. I think y'all gonna really appreciate what we got going on for y'all. Yes, y'all. This is your man, Zay Smooth, DJ Zay Smooth, Beats by Lonza, Zay, whatever you know me as. And tonight we're going to be talking about real estate and financial literacy. So we got a couple guests on tonight, and I think y'all going to get schooled on a couple things. And hopefully we can learn together. We can learn something, and whatever we take away from the show tonight, you can use it in your everyday life. So in a few minutes, we're going to get started. So thank you again for joining us and being here. And if you're a first-time listener or the 50th time listener, thank you for being here. We appreciate it. So we're going to get to going in a few seconds, in a few shakes. All right. I love y'all. Y'all keep it flat, keep it easy. You know how we do. Grind 329 podcast by Lonza. Hope everybody's doing good. Hope everybody had a good Thanksgiving. We will be getting started momentarily. This beat right here is provided by my man Wugga. Beats by Wugga out of Ireland. Bless me with this beat. I'm gonna ride out to this until our guests come in. Hello. How you doing?
I'm fine. How are you?
How's everything going on your end?
I've been super busy. I'm not gonna complain. I'm tired, but I'm busy and it's good. Surprisingly, with the rates still being really high, people are still buying houses. Thank God for Jesus, because that keeps me in business and busy.
Right.
So I cannot
I heard that.
complain. Like I absolutely, I've been enjoying it. I need a vacation, but after all of this is
I heard
died
that.
down a bit, I got a goal that I'm trying
you'll get
to
out there
accomplish before the end of the year, and I'm almost there.
Okay.
So sleep is for the weak right now. I'm trying to grind it out.
Trying to grind it out.
Yeah, I'm
That's
trying to
right.
grind
That's
it
right.
out.
That's what
Trying to
you
get
gotta
this
do.
thing done. Like I'm trying to be Jameis Winston at that in the last quarter of a FSU game. Trying to go in and smash it real quick.
I know that's right.
I do a lot of transactions together. And we've actually been trying to work on getting more people to understand what the home buying process is like, because it can be very overwhelming. And then a lot of people want to tap out right in the middle. And I'm like, hey, we already here now. And
Right.
it's a lot. It could be very overwhelming, but it's so rewarding at the end of the day, because you're getting ready to build some generational wealth for you and your family, opposed to renting and not building any equity. So she and I have been planning to do something really, really soon to kind of prepare people for tax season, so they'll know that, you know, use your tax money to build some equity and home, something that's going to help you build generational wealth for your family. You can pass it down. You can't pass down something you're renting. You're not building any equity.
Right.
You're not making any money. So we
You're
want
just
to kind
helping
of
somebody else.
get people before they start spending their money on things that are liabilities opposed to assets. Because you know how we do.
Appreciate y'all joining us tonight. I'm gonna kind of change the flip of the way that I do my podcast. I normally just run through a list of questions, just talking about your business and how you got into entrepreneurship and, you know, some of the things that I think that the world would like to talk about. But I think today is a option where I want you all to teach us, you know, since y'all are the experts in the field. And I kind of want you all to give us a masterclass on the things that we should know on home buyership, and financial literacy, and some things we should look for when we're trying to purchase a home, if that's okay with you all.
It's perfect. Ooh.
So I will ask a few questions just to get us started. I want to know a little bit about you all, your background, where you're from. If you want to talk about, you don't have to go too in depth if you don't like, but just a little bit about yourself and what you like to do and fun and hobbies, stuff like that.
You want to go for it first, Britt?
Sure. So, so a little bit about me. My name is Brittany Batten. I currently reside in Valdosta, Georgia. I've been here for 6 years. I relocated here with my husband when we got married, but I'm originally from Northwest Atlanta. So I love attending sporting events, concerts, shopping, anything that has to do with my kids. With the market being like it is, I will admit and say I enjoy my couch time now too, because I think I stay so busy all the time. But yeah, I've been in the mortgage industry for nearly 20 years, and I've had the opportunity to kind of work every stage of that business. So I've done, operations, funding, processing, underwriting, and then went into sales. So it's really helped me on my sales path, having a better understanding for how the process works on the back end and what's expected of the borrowers. Currently, I'm with Future Home Loans as a mortgage broker, an independent mortgage broker.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I am Shayla Lovett Robinson, and I currently reside in Valdosta, Georgia. I'm actually from Marianna, Florida. I've been here in Valdosta a little over 16 years. I came here with my late husband and my oldest son. And after my husband passed away, the boys and I just decided to stay and make it home. I have been a financial literacy coach for nearly 5 years. It's something that I absolutely love. It's a passion of mine to actually help people to change their lives financially. And I am a licensed insurance broker. I own a life insurance agency here in Valdosta. We've been open about 3 years. I own it with 5 others. We are one of the few Black-owned life insurance agencies here in Valdosta. I am also a licensed realtor in the state of Georgia, but with my life insurance, I am licensed in both Florida and Georgia. So real estate and financial literacy and insurance all go hand in hand. So it's just the opportunity for me to help somebody change their life financially, help them to build generational wealth through real estate. That is a really, really big passion of mine. Normalizing home ownership in every community across the U.S. I'm actually getting ready to start a new program called Project 1K. I'm on a mission to help 1,000 families become homeowners within the next 2 years. I'm hoping to have that mission completed by the end of 2023. So this is just something that I'm really, really passionate about. I'm passionate about people. I absolutely love what I do. In my spare time, I'm a ultimate boy mom. So I spend a lot of time with my boys. I love the beach. I love to shop. I'm a foodie, so I travel everywhere to eat. But that's just a little bit about me and what I have going on.
That's beautiful. So my name is Lonza. I go by my producer name, which is Beats by Lonza. And my podcast normally talks about music business and producing and the actual business of music. However, the podcast also, what I wanted to do was I wanted to educate the community about other things that we should be educated on. outside of just the regular things of cars and money and the things that everybody just see, the tangible things that you can get out of the music business. And I thought that, you know, a lot of us are really bad with financial management, and a lot of us don't own homes and, you know, don't know the first thing about having a home and what it takes to get a home and all that stuff, qualify for a home. So I thought that it'd be a very good idea to educate the community on financial literacy. So again, ladies, thank you again for coming tonight. I apologize for some of the technical difficulties, but we're gonna get this done. So Shayla, did you think that when you graduated high school that this would be the route that you'd be on?
Oh gosh, no. I never imagined doing any of the things that I've done. The only thing I imagined, I always wanted to go to college, get a bachelor's degree, and then I just wanted to get a job and I just wanted to work for somebody else. I never imagined being a serial entrepreneur, working for myself. That was just not on the radar for me. Um, but once I got done with my master's degree, I applied for like 25 different jobs and I didn't get any of them. So I was like, okay, you got to do something, Shayla. You got to utilize these degrees. And I started my own business, got into being a financial literacy coach. I got into it because I myself had gone to a car lot and this guy told me, he was like, Miss Robinson, nobody's gonna give you a car with a credit score like that, with like the one that you have. And I was like, I felt so horrible. That was like the worst feeling in the world. You want something and you're not able to go and get it. So I didn't get upset with him. I wasn't mad at him. I was mad enough at myself and my current situation to do something about it. So he handed me a card, and that card to me said, go fix yourself. I can't make one dime off of you. And from that point on, I started being intentional about my finances and improving my credit scores. So I started looking into it, met some ladies up in Atlanta that were into network marketing, making a lot of money, educating people on the process, got involved, absolutely love what I do. And I've been doing it ever since. And that was 4 years ago. I traveled all over the place with this company. I've met a lot of people, made a lot of friends, educated a lot of people, but I never in a million years saw myself doing anything like this. This was just not what I wanted to do. I actually wanted to own a beauty salon. When I was in school, that was the only thing I could think of, is doing hair. And I didn't go to cosmetology school, but I did end up with my own business. And it's something that I'm extremely passionate about, which is people. And that's educating people and normalizing home ownership and financial fitness. So no, I did not see myself being where I am currently.
Awesome. Miss Brittany, my question for you, I've been hearing a lot about the buying home business right now, and a lot of people talking about rates. Are the rates really good right now? Or is it a really good time to buy a home at this point? Or where we are in the year, is a really good time to buy homes now? Or is that just fluff that you hear people saying just to get you to go out there to try to buy a home?
Well, I mean, if you take a look back, over history, the mortgage industry and the interest rates is cyclical. We go through this cycle and rates are always going to go up and they're always going to go down. So rates, yes, spiked a little bit higher than what we were used to, but I also feel as if we got spoiled with these 2 and 3 and 4% interest rates. That was unheard of, and actually something that our country has never seen. So, we got used to paying those payments or seeing what those interest rates were. where we are now is actually considered normal for these interest rates. So I think, yeah, it's a little bit of shock at first. But again, I do feel the market will go back down. So to answer your question, yes, I think it's always a great time to make an investment and buy a house. At the same time, there's a lot of investors or leasing companies who are taking advantage of these people that feel as if they can't get into a home and they're hiking up their rent. Or selling properties right from out underneath them. And a lot of cases, even if the rates are in the 6s and the 7s, you're still going to be paying less for your home than you would if you were in an apartment. And you're making that payment to your mortgage company and making an investment instead of paying somebody else's mortgage. So I think it's really always a good idea. A lot of the customers that I work with now, I tell them, rates may be 7%. But next year they anticipate they'll go back down to 5.5. Let's refinance at that time and drop your payments. In addition to that, there's also some really cool products. Lenders are getting creative and putting products out there to try to combat this rate environment. So for example, there's temporary buy downs. And so when a seller offers seller concessions, or to pay towards your closing costs is what we normally see them do. They now have the option to do a temporary buy down, which means they can buy down that interest rate. In some cases, 3 percentage points for the first year, 2 percentage points for the second year, and 1 percentage point for that last year. So then that puts you right back at that 4% interest rate that we were accustomed to for the last couple of years. So I think it's just, getting creative, working with a lender that's a professional that knows all of the tools that are out there and at your disposal, so that you can really leverage that and get yourself into a home and stop paying rent. They say date the rate and marry your mortgage. That's what we've been saying lately. So, date the interest rate. That's not going to stay the same forever. We can always refinance and get a cheaper payment, but let's get you in a house and get you an investment property.
I like it. So my next question would be, let's say hypothetically in the next 6 months, I wanted to purchase a home, and this is I'm a first time home owner, a home buyer. What are the steps that I should take to get myself prepared to try and buy a home?
So I would say for a first time home buyer, one of the biggest things are the top three things we look at when we are pre-approving a customer is your credit report. We're going to do a full review of that, your employment, and just your overall financial standing. So your debt to income ratios, how much money do you earn versus how much debt do you have? So I think it would be really important to start working on your credit. No credit is just as bad as, a bad credit score. So Let's have something revolving on your credit report every single month that remains in a positive status, just so we can get your scores up there and your scores going. And then if you do have credit, of course, it's important, let's make sure you make those payments on time, because it will hurt you and it can haunt you for a very long time. With regards to the employment, I would say they want to see 2 years consecutive employment or 2 years of stability. There are a lot of lenders out there who now are a little bit more flexible on that, especially with COVID and everything that happened. So there are instances where with that explanation, you can get around it. Or if you were in school and so you took a job in the career field that you plan to work in or you graduated in, then that's an exception as well. But they are really big on employment and stability. So they want to know you're going to be able to keep that job and make those payments every single month. And then the other thing would be, just to, again, keep your debt load low, keep your scores up there. I think 580 is the credit score they put out there. That's the lowest. But then there are some that will actually go down to around 550 now. They may require some down payment, but the 580 you can get an FHA loan and still put down 3.5%. So start saving as well. You're going to have a down payment, most likely, with FHA, like I said, 3.5%. Conventional first-time home buyer options, if you fall within certain area median income limits, will allow for 3% down. And then, of course, you have your VA loans, if you're military, that require no down payment whatsoever. And then USDA, if you live in an area that's eligible for one of those rural loans, there's no down payment. So, you're going to have closing costs if you don't have a down payment. So do start saving and do start taking those expenses into consideration and file your taxes. I know a lot of people had held off filing their taxes. They will not proceed without them being filed.
That's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
And then another thing with that tax thing, if you're an entrepreneur, what you don't want to do is be writing off all that stuff, because that's going to be a big red flag for a lender.
Yep.
If you have a lot of write-offs. So please try not to do too many write-offs.
Mm-hmm.
This is something that I just recently learned. I was on a master class and I learned that, and I was like, okay, so Shayla, when you file your taxes, do not write all this stuff off. At least pay something. Mm-hmm. So when you're paying something in.
Yep.
So that's another good thing that people do need to consider, especially if you're an entrepreneur and you're trying to get a home.
Yeah, I would definitely talk to like a good accountant that
Yes,
understands that you want to purchase a home in the future, and what, if you are self-employed, what you need to do in order to do that, because you could be self-employed making $200,000 a year, but if you're writing everything off, the lender, it doesn't show that you're making anything.
Right.
Now there are some programs out there that you can avoid that and avoid the tax returns for self-employed borrowers, like bank statement programs, where you can show 24 months bank statements.
Right.
And in some cases that helps, but interest rates are a lot higher on those, because it's a niche product and something they're going to put portfolio themselves and take on the risk, and they're not going to sell it off. So they're going to charge you for that.
Yeah. So to save yourself some money, please don't write everything off if you're self-employed. It's not a good deal, because in the end, you're really still going to be paying for it.
Yep.
With those interest rates. So it's not really saving you any money.
Mm-hmm.
Most memorable event you've had in your career that you can think of? I know you probably had so many that's really went to your heart, but if you can think of like the top 3, could you tell us like one of the most memorable events that's happened in your career?
Oh my goodness. It's going to take me a second. I don't know. I think it would be kind of twofold for me, because being on this mortgage broker side, this is a completely different venture for me. For all intents and purposes, it really is self-employed. So I really battled taking that leap and jumping into this field. Even though I'd been in the industry for a long time, I just questioned myself and doubted myself, because I had always worked in corporate America and walked the safe side of the street with a salary, So I was like, I don't know if I want to do this. But I will say it was the best decision that I ever made. Just the people, like Shayla had mentioned, that you meet, and you just really become so attached to them. So working with those first-time home buyers are like one of my favorites to work with, because they are so genuinely excited to get that home. And so when I can make that happen for them when they never thought they would be able to achieve it, I've literally been in tears at the closing table. So that is really important to me, and it makes me love my job and what I do every single day. So with that is what I'd say has been memorable or really rewarding for me. And the process, I think, because I enjoy it so much and what I'm doing, it doesn't feel like work, and
Right.
I've been more successful. I think been 3 months in a row one of the top producers within my company. When I spin my wheels for 4 previous years in corporate America, never really accomplishing anything. So, it feels good when you finally just find your spot in your place where you're supposed to be.
I so agree with that. Like that is it's it can be overwhelming sometimes. The whole process is overwhelming because you're working with so many different people. There are so many different components that have to come together in a real estate transaction. That's why it's so imperative that you have a team of people that work together and we all work well together. Like Brittany, you know how I work.
Yeah.
I don't work with everybody. When I find those people that I genuinely feel like they have the same work ethic as me, and then we all have the same goal. The ultimate goal is to ensure that our client gets to the closing table. It's not always seamless. It can be a lot. It can be
Yeah.
very overwhelming, and we wear so many different hats. At the end of the day, it's so rewarding when a first-time home buyer gets those keys passed across the table. It is the absolute best feeling in the world to know that you were a part of the process.
Mhm.
Um, so even though I came into real estate kicking and screaming, didn't want to do it, but this is what God wanted me to do. I got over here and I absolutely love it. Like some days, like some weeks, there are no days off. Like you're working constantly nonstop. But then you get to work with people that you begin to love. You become friends and family, and it's awesome. And then your clients become your family. Like you get invited to all the family picnics and everything, and it's just so awesome. I absolutely love what I do. I'm extremely passionate about people and seeing people's lives changed. And this is something that's so rewarding because we get to do this on a daily basis.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's a very intimate relationship that you
It is.
develop because these people are sharing everything with you, the good, the
Oh
bad,
yeah.
the ugly. They give you everything with the exception of their firstborn. I mean, you get very personal with these people and it can be intimidating for them. So you can make them feel comfortable through that process, and go through just the, emotional aspect of it all. There's worry, there's stress, there's, talking them through. I say sometimes I feel like a part-time therapist,
Oh
because
gosh, you too?
I've been that way. I get it.
A lot
I'm
of
in the
hate.
industry. And when I bought my house, I stressed my loan officer out. But it's just a really cool thing to see come, to fruition once you jump the hurdles or you get through, whatever hangups you may have along the way. But just to see how happy they are on closing day is awesome.
Absolutely. That's the most rewarding thing. I think it's just seeing the tears sometimes, and then you get all teary eyed. But it's just so awesome to get to see a family, like you said, like somebody who never thought that home ownership was attainable. And that's my goal, is to normalize home ownership. And how you do that is you educate people on the process. And you let people know that there are going to be highs and there are going to be lows. But at the same time, you have to look at the big picture, which is you're going to be owning your own home. You're going to be building equity in this home. You're building generational wealth, something that you can actually pass down to your family. So that's the key, is education. Making sure that people are informed and they have the tools and the resources that are necessary. A lot of people want to own a home, they just don't know where to start. And then the thought of home ownership can be so daunting when you don't know what the process is. So it's just making sure that we get out there and we educate these people on this process, and we let them know that, hey, I'm not just a realtor. I'm someone who's, I could be your friend. at the end of the day, I'm going to walk alongside you throughout the process. I'm not out here just trying to make a dollar. This is what I do this for compensation, but at the same time, I do it because I'm passionate about people and I absolutely love what I do. I wouldn't trade it for anything. I mean, I probably quit real estate about 3 times a week, but
You said, I know.
I quit about 3 times a week. But it's nothing satisfies me more than just being able to see someone get those keys passed across the table. I love it. It never gets old to me.
And it's always good to start somewhere, like there's kind of this misconception, I think, out there where you got to have the $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 house as your first starter home. No, it's okay to go get that $100,000, $150,000 house or even less.
It's not a forever home.
So, start somewhere and watch your investment grow, and then you'll have enough equity and you go do the next one.
And that's the thing about it. I tell people all the time, like, this is not your forever home. And then you're not going to get everything that you want in your first home unless you're custom building this home.
Mm-hmm.
So I get a lot of people, I have to reel them back in. And I'm like, hey, listen, we're going to have to compromise here, or we're going to have to find some more money.
Right.
Because sometimes with first-time home owners, you have to be really patient with them because they're not realistic, because they don't know the process. This is what we do every day on a daily basis, but this is not their profession. And we're the experts here. So, I'm here to listen to you, but at the same time, I'm also here to advise you as well.
Right.
So any last words of advice you want to give to the listeners to take away from this podcast, if they haven't been taking notes so far, before we end the podcast?
Yeah, I would say, and to Shayla's point, in which she just mentioned, is educate yourself. Like there's a lot of tools at our disposal now with the internet and Google, and that's great, but it's not always the best information.
Right.
I would recommend talking to a couple different people. There are a lot of programs out there to help you get into a home. There's grant money out there that helps with down payment assistance. I know in Atlanta, I have a friend, there's a lot of transitioning neighborhoods over there. And so like within the city of Atlanta, they will give you $10,000 towards your closing costs. And it's a forgivable loan so long as you agree to stay in the home for 5 years. So really explore your options, talk to a professional, and don't just think, man, I had this one credit blemish, 3 months ago, I'm probably not going to be able to get in a house. Some of the lenders don't really care at this point, everybody's had hiccups here and there on their credit or medical debt or something like that maybe couldn't taken care of, and they'll overlook it. So I think it's important to do your research, talk to a professional, talk to a few professionals, and really get a feel for what's available, because what your local bank down the street might not be what a wholesale lender like myself can give you.
Absolutely. And I feel like you said, Brittany, just talking to people, a lot of times, if you don't ask, you won't know. So my thing is, I'm very approachable. I don't mind answering questions. That's what I'm here for, is to answer questions. So I can't answer a question if you don't ask it. So I that's what I'm here for, to make sure that I'm answering any real estate questions that you may have. And then my thing is, during the consultation, I want to hear what your goals are. I want us to sit down and to devise a plan that's going to fit your family needs. I don't want you to have these unrealistic expectations. Because a lot of times people, first time home buyers, especially, they'll come into this, hey, I got $175,000 and I'm gonna go out here and get this really big home. That's not gonna happen. That's not gonna happen at all. I see this every day. That's crazy. So I have to reel people back in, but that's where you and I sit down together and we talk about these things. I wanna get to know you. I want to find out what your needs are. How can I meet your needs? Like, what do you want most in your home? You know, what are the necessities, the things that you can't live without?
Yeah.
In your first home, because your first home is probably not going to be your forever home. So let's sit down and devise a plan to make sure that the things that are most important to you are there in that home for you, at least the first one.
Mhm. Yeah.
And where
plan
can,
ahead.
go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, you're right. Plan ahead too. You know, if you're thinking, okay, January, I want to move, I would probably start talking to someone now, and just getting a feel for what's out there, especially depending upon the area that you are going to live in or relocate to. So plan ahead, and you know, depending on what type of loan you do, will largely depend on how quickly you can close. So you could estimate any time from 30 to 60 days. So make sure you give yourself enough buffer and time so that you're not like super stressed, like, oh my gosh, I got to be out of my, you know, rental in 15 days and I've still got 30 days until my loan closes. You know, that's just going to add stress on me, stress on Shayla and everybody else. So
That's a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And
That's a lot.
how can someone get in contact with you if they want to ask some questions or get started?
So if you want to reach out to me, again, my name's Brittany. I'm with Future Home Loans, and you can reach me on Facebook, Brittany Batten, and not Future Home Loans. You can get me by email, it's actually just Brittany@future.loans, or by my cell phone. I'm always available there too. So that number is 404-438-0457.
And I'm Shayla Robinson on Facebook. And my number is 229-630-5089. My email address is shaylarobinson57@gmail.com. Like I'm pretty much like Brittany. You can text, call, email, however you want to do it. I just want to make sure that people are educated on this process. And I like I said, I want to normalize home ownership in every community because it is attainable. A lot of people don't think that it is, but it really is. So reach out to us, ask all the questions that you like. We are here to answer any questions that you have.
Thank you, ladies. It's been a pleasure, Shayla and Brittany.
Yes, thank you so.
Let's give a round of applause for our guest.